Vipi was saying, Dex Zappa, Box to Box FPL Show Game Week 33 preview. As always, the show is brought to you by Uber Eats. I just want to thank Uber Eats for believing us and partnering us throughout the entire season. And I want to thank you guys as well for just always being there with us. It's Saturday morning. It is 4:11 in the morning. I wanted to do this thing like on Wednesday, but then because of all the fixtures of Champions League and then Europa League, I was not too sure. And sure enough, some key players have gotten injured in FPL. So I'm glad I stayed long enough, but it's 4:11 on Saturday. I'm just trying to get this thing out as soon as possible. I think deadline is at midday, so I believe the episode will be out by then. As always, guys, the show is brought to you by Uber Eats, as I've mentioned. We have our community on WhatsApp, so guys, don't forget to join. And also today, I just want to thank you guys, man, because I feel like it's been such a rough journey in terms of just creating this YouTube content. Like, it's hectic. There are days where I'm barely sleeping just to make sure this content is out. But then I always find people showing so much love, and people just love what we do at Box to Box. So that is a shout out to you guys. Thank all of you guys for being there for us and being there with us. As always, shows on Spotify as well, Apple Podcasts, and of course for you guys watching on YouTube. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this with all your friends. Just make sure you tell them, yo, we're here doing fantasy football, and we're also doing local football. Town Danny podcast episode dropped this week, and I think we should be dropping this week's previews as well today, actually, because the game starts today. What else? We were nominated for Content Creator Awards by Tamasha, so make sure you vote for us as well. I'll put the link in the description. And yeah, with that being said, we need to jump straight into Game Week 32. A game week which was okay, it wasn't bad. 60 points in game week 32. Average was 56, so we just outdid it by 4 points. So we left quite a number of points on the bench. Dubravka, 9 points on the bench. Oli Watkins, who was a doubt, was not even supposed to play, ended up getting 13 points. Man, this guy on the bench. That is a total of 22 points on the bench. But had we brought them in, it probably would have been Muniz and Dubravka. So that's 22 minus 4. So it would have been an extra 18 points. But no luck there. And that is how our game week went. Saliba gave us 5 points. Obviously, clean sheet against Luton. Ait Nouri, 4 points. He was playing quite well until he got injured. So he didn't even play 60 minutes. So he only managed to play 54 minutes. Doughty gave us 2 points. And then in midfield, you have Salah, who scored a penalty against United, got 8 points. Luis Diaz, 7 points after his goal versus United. Johnson, 2 points. Cole Palmer, who was our captain, only managed 10 points the 1 week where we thought he would be getting double-digit scores, so he only got 10 points. Who next? Bukayo Saka, 10 points as well. Scored a penalty and got bonus as well. I think he got full bonus. He got 2 bonus points. Then up front, Muniz blanked 2 points in their loss, 1-0 loss at home to Newcastle. And then Haaland scored in their 4-1 victory over Crystal Palace. And yeah, that is how the team did. Red arrows this week, not a good look. Just keep grinding, man. Just keep grinding. And our team 4. What is this? FPL Challenge, Game Week 32. So obviously, Game Week 32 was red rivalry. So anyone who plays for United and for Liverpool got double points. The game ended 2-2. People who you don't expect. Okay, so we expected Bruno to be involved somewhere. Of course he did. But then Kobe Mino scored a worldie. Who else scored a crazy goal? Bruno scored a crazy goal, but we had him already. Diaz came through as well. Wan-Bissaka assist, not expected. So those are some of the people who we didn't expect to actually get points. We managed to get how many points did we get? 88 points. So this 88 points was good for 14th in our league, in our box-to-box fantasy league. Onana gave us 4 points at keeper. We might as well have started Pickford over him because Onana didn't do much. Van Dijk 2 points, Bdalo 2 points. Salah came through and he was a captain. He had 32 points. That was 16. So he had 8 points from his goal and his 2 bonus points and his 1 bonus point. Then you double that for Red Rivalry and then you double that for being captain. So 32 points. Then Bruno Fernandes, 18 points. Garnacho, 4 points. McAllister, 4 points. Palmer, 5. And Haaland, 8 points up front. Again, lots of points on the bench with Chris Wood, who I knew would do something, but I don't even know why I didn't start him. Like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Muniz, blanking, and Pedro Porro got 11 points after an amazing outing against, I forget who they were playing at home, but yeah. The team of the week, we have Dubravka with 9 points, and he was on our bench. Van de Ven, 11 points. Pedro Porro, 11 points. The Spurs defenders really came through. Thiago Silva, 10 points. I think he scored a goal against Sheffield United in their 2-2 draw. Reguilon, 9 points, looking really good. Someone we're going to talk about a bit more. De Bruyne, 18 points. I think he had 2 goals and an assist. He was the player of the week. Havertz, 14 points, really solid outing against Luton, goal and an assist. Bruno G, 11 points with his goal against Liverpool. How did he get 11 points? I have no idea. Mino, 10 points, and then Clark up front for Luton got 10 points, and Oli Watkins got 13 points. And that is how the team of the week looks like for game week 32. Now, we're done with game week 32. We're going to jump straight to game week 33. And for game week 33, I'm just going to start with our what are we starting with? So, yeah, I'm going to talk about the players who are involved in Europe because those are the ones who are actually key because that's going to really determine what we're going to do with any transfers and any captaincy picks because rotation is a real deal. Something that's it's very real and it's going to happen. So before we start on that, the fixtures for Saturday, this is how our fixtures for Saturday look. Newcastle going up against Spurs. That's the early kickoff game on Saturday. Brentford versus Sheffield United. Burnley versus Brighton. Man City versus Luton. Nottingham Forest versus Wolves. And then Bournemouth versus United is the late kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Then on Sunday, we have Liverpool taking on Crystal Palace. West Ham going up against Fulham. And then Arsenal going up against Aston Villa. Then our lone game on Monday night is Chelsea versus Everton. So the key games or the teams that were involved in Europe. So you have Man City and Arsenal who are involved on Tuesday night. Of course, Man City traveled to Madrid, so they were the ones who involved. They were the ones who traveled away. Arsenal played at home, and this week's game week is at home. And then Aston Villa played at home as well. Liverpool played at home. West Ham played in Leverkusen in Germany. So we're going to start with Man City. Foden, Ake, and Rodri. Rodri is if you guys haven't seen the interview by now, he was complaining a bit about being fatigued and a bit tired. So the fatigue is a real deal, right? So again, if he's someone you have in your team, just worth considering that he might be rotated. This is a good week to have a very strong bench, or at least people you can easily bring into play. Then who else? Foden is an injury doubt with a knock, but I think if it's good enough, he'll play. But if it's something not worth risking, I also think he won't play, right? Because there's actually no point in risking him, and they can start with Alvarez just behind Haaland, you know. So again, Foden, someone to just be wary about. Ake has just been an injury doubt the whole week. I don't think he played did he play in Madrid? I'm not even sure. But yeah, those are the main key doubts for Man City. Ederson might be back. He was on the bench in Madrid, so just have that in mind as well. Then going for Arsenal, you have Saka. He was subbed off. He did his normal limping thing, limping out. And then Martinelli and Jesus, that one is more of a rotation thing because Jesus didn't start the Champions League game. So chances are Jesus might actually start this week, but you never know because Martinelli just gives us something different on the wing in terms of how he attacks the fullbacks. And we know Aston Villa have a bit of a weakness on the wings. So again, we're not too sure how that rotation is going to look like, but Havertz may be dropped for Jesus, or Saka might start and then that front three, Trossard might start, Martinelli is dropped. So I'm still not sure how that is going to work. Partey might start this game as well. We saw in the Champions League game, Havertz actually being played in midfield. It's been a while since I think it was beginning of the season when that happened, when he wasn't quite ticking over there, but it's something that's possible. That whole front five is a very, very risky proposition. I know Arsenal are top of the league, they're doing well, but the rotation up front, I think the only person actually that you're sure is going to play is Saka. Like that one you're sure because this Arsenal-Aston Villa game is not an easy game. It's not a game where you rest players for. It's not Luton, so they're definitely going to play one of those two. Then Aston Villa, I think Douglas Luiz is out. He's suspended for this game. Then there's actually potential of rotation of Leon Bailey and what's the other winger called? Why am I all of a sudden forgetting Aston Villa players? But they had a tough game against Lille. Game ended 2-1. Game ended 2-1. Oli Watkins got on the score sheet. He's actually playing with so much confidence. He had the issue with his hamstring, but it looks like he's going to be okay for the game. The likes of what are they? Yeah, like Zaniolo. Like there's going to be a lot of rotation there. McGinn recently just came back from suspension, so he's definitely starting this game, and he might be played a bit higher, just so in case they need to rotate, or he might be put in that defensive midfield role. Musa Diaby is who I'm thinking of. So yeah, Aston Villa as well, just risk of rotation. The person you're sure of is Watkins. Watkins is, I think, is a must start for this game because they're still in the Champions League hunt. Then for Liverpool's game was a weird game. They lost 3-0 at home, but they started the game by benching everyone. They benched Salah. They benched Robertson. They benched. I can't remember if Luis Diaz was benched. I remember watching the game, but I don't remember if Luis Diaz was benched for the game. Let me just check that real quick. But yeah, again, this is a must win for them. It's a game where they can't actually risk falling behind Arsenal and Man City, right? And after that poor showing, let me just call it a poor showing, I think like Liverpool, everyone is talking about like, are we seeing cracks in the team and stuff like that, right? So they actually benched Luis Diaz. Cody Gakpo, Darwin Nunez, and Javier Lopez started up front. Curtis Jones, Wataru Endo, and Alexis started in midfield, and another back, Joe Gomez, Konate, Virgil, and Tsimikas started at the back, and Kelleher started for them as well. Kelleher started despite Ederson being back in training. He wasn't in the squad, but he's back in training. So again, Kelleher is someone to just watch out for, that he might or might not start. He might or might not be in contention. So just remember, your second keeper, if Kelleher is your starting keeper, has to be a solid one. But with that being said, because they rested everyone, Salah, Jota is back, by the way. Szoboszlai has to start. Robo will definitely start. Trent is fit again. He was on the bench. He'll probably start because this is a good game for him to play. Crystal Palace at home, just to get his feet back. Even though he might maybe play 60 minutes or just play the last 30 minutes, something like that. So Salah is a must go and Luis Diaz is a must here. I don't think those two will be benched. Diaz coming on and playing 30 minutes, and you saw how much he changed the game. Salah had came on at halftime, so Klopp actually did a triple change. He brought in Szoboszlai, Salah, and Robertson for Tsimikas, Jones, and Harvey Elliott. Tsimikas was having a torrid time against Atalanta's right wing. Zappacosta and De Ketelaere. Koop Miners also was just really, really marauding on that side. So, yeah, those are some of the things you need to think about when looking at the teams that went into Europe. And West Ham is the last team. Bowen, I think, is an injury doubt because he pulled something. I think it's a thigh injury or something. So he's actually an injury doubt for this game this week. And he... I don't think he... Yeah, he actually wasn't on the squad. He wasn't in the squad for the Thursday game because they said with Antonio up front, and then right behind was Lucas Paqueta and Kudus. So yeah, Bowen didn't even play against Leverkusen. So I don't know. Is if that's because I actually thought he got the injury in that game, but he didn't. So he actually didn't play the game. So yeah, just someone to watch out for. Risk of rotation as well. The thing with West Ham is they play such a low block. I don't even think their players get tired during the course of games. So yeah, just have that in mind. And yeah, those are the key players in terms of rotation. And then most of the time when these teams come back from playing in Europe, the games tend to be a bit slower. They tend to start off a bit slower. So don't expect high scoring goals. Like if it was possible to not captain anyone from these teams, you would, but some of them have really good fixtures like Man City, so it's not... And the good thing is Arsenal and Aston Villa play each other. The two teams, one in the Champions League, one in the Europa. Arsenal played on Tuesday. Aston Villa played on Thursday. That's also something to remember. So, yeah, short turnaround for them. They have basically 3 days. Well, it's 4 days, right? Is it Thursday? So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. Arsenal, it's 5 days between their game on Tuesday and game on Sunday. So they have to play on Sunday because once you play on Thursday, a Saturday game is impossible. I'm sure you all know that by now. Yeah, so I've spent quite a bit of time talking about these teams in Europe. But yeah, that's basically it. Like it's just one of those things you have to be quite aware of. And the return legs for all these guys is this Thursday, which means the coming week as well, things are tricky. But then the coming week is a double game week for many teams, double game week 34. So that is also something that I want to just go over with you guys. If you look at this fixture ticker, you will see that there's quite a number of teams that have double fixtures. So like Sheffield United play Man United and Burnley. Liverpool play Everton and Fulham. Crystal Palace have 2 as well. West Ham and Newcastle at home, both games. Arsenal have Chelsea and Wolves. Everton have Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. Wolves have Arsenal and Bournemouth. Then Bournemouth have Aston Villa and Wolves. Then, yeah, so those are the teams that are on double game week. So just have that in mind. So if you're going to make any subs and remove any of these players, have in mind, if you don't have a wild card or you don't have a free hit, that you can then definitely get players from one of these teams. That is Sheffield United, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Everton, Wolves, and Bournemouth. Double game week in game week 34. So if you make any subs this week, just have that in mind. This applies to not only these players who played in Europe, but any transfers that you make as I go through the rest of the list. So yeah, that is how our fixture ticker looks like. And shout out to Fantasy Football Hub. That is where I get this fixture ticker. I have actually paid for the membership, and this is one of the toolkits you get. So you can actually, like this one, I've actually sorted by who has the easiest fixture over the next, between game week 33 and 38 until the end of the season. So if you look at the points, that's just the overall points that you're given, projected points per team, right? So 10.2 for Chelsea, 9.6 for Sheffield United, Liverpool 9.5. Yeah, again, difficulty of fixture is also determined by most of the teams that are in Europe. You don't see them that high in this list as well. So I think apart from Liverpool, who are in third place. But yeah, shout out to Fantasy Football Hub for the hookup. Yeah, that was a long topic, eh? But we are here. So next up, I think we are going to talk about the players who we think are the best players for game week 33. So starting up with Mo Salah. The man got 8 points in game week 32 against United, 1 goal, obviously, the late penalty, and got 1 bonus point. He has a fixture against, who are they playing this week? Crystal Palace. This is more of like a prove-it fixture after their poor showing in midweek. I feel like they need to really show that they're actually up for this title, right? We know they're all up for it, but it's that 3-0 loss at home was not a good look. Crystal Palace at home, a team that Salah has scored against before, so I think it's going to be a really good game for him. Haaland obviously scored 5 goals against Luton in the FA Cup. Luton have the worst defense. They've conceded the most shots in the box. Haaland has the most shots in the box. Man City just look like they will score a lot in this game. The only thing is we don't know who's going to start, but Haaland is more or less going to start, especially if Foden is not going to play, right? You still need that threat up front. So yeah, Haaland is definitely worth considering this week. Bukayo Saka playing Aston Villa at home. The one thing about Aston Villa is they concede a high amount of chances, quite weak on the flanks, and they have a big zonal weakness, especially on their left side, which is Saka's side. Yeah, Saka plays on the right. The one thing about Aston Villa is they have not considered a penalty yet in the Premier League this season. Big source for goals for Saka, so just have that in mind as well. Foden, just like his Man City teammate Haaland, playing Luton at home. The thing about Foden is definitely we have told you guys that he's a doubt with a thigh injury, but Luton again, and on top of being the worst defense away from home, they concede the most chances from their left, and from the center, and they concede the most shots from their right and the center. So that center area, you've seen Foden, those crazy goals he scored against City, against Real, against United. Like, that is the territory where Luton are just the weakest, and when they concede in bunches. So Man City is a goal this week. And then Ivan Toney, home fixture against Sheffield United, at 8.1 million. I feel like he's a good shout for this week. Ever since he came back, he's been quite solid. Last week he was benched. He only played 9 minutes against Aston Villa. Sorry, guys. He's on penalty duties as well, set pieces, and if you really can't get Mbeumo in your team, obviously Toney is the better alternative. I just feel like the Brentford fixture against Sheffield is one that you don't want to pass up on. You really want to have some cover in that game. So that is where Toney comes in, and those are our best players for Game Week 33. Now, these are the differentials for Game Week 33. Brand Mbeumo. Again, if you can't get Toney, Mbeumo is the go-to guy. Mbeumo scored a goal last week against Aston Villa. If you look at how they played, he was the most advanced player because Toney had been benched. He was the most advanced player. So basically, he's a striker playing classified as a midfield in FPL. That just bodes well, and he's playing Sheffield United, the team that has conceded the most goals in the league this season. Jeremy Doku, Luton at home. This is a bit of a shout. He's predicted to start with Foden being a potential doubt this week, and also rotation because you just know what Pep is going to do. Again, what am I saying again? Yeah, Luton are quite weak on the right, you know. Doku has been playing. He can play on the left, but he's been playing on the right, especially if Grealish starts the game. So Doku is that guy. He is actually that guy, and a big differential this week, especially if Man City are to score quite a number of goals against Luton. It's definitely a lot of it is going to come from Doku's area. As we said with Foden, Luton consider a lot of chances from the left and the center, and consider most of their shots from the right and the center. So that weakness on the left, the chance creation on the left, Doku again is an assist threat from there. And then I think the biggest one this week for me personally is another Brentford player, Reguilon, playing against Sheffield United. In terms of defenders, probably the best fixture this week. Got 2 assists versus Aston Villa. He's playing quite advanced for Brentford, and he nearly scored as well in that game. He got 9 points from that game and 2 bonus points. So Reguilon is someone worth considering if you're looking for that differential in defense for Game Week 33. Yeah, and next up is going to be Captain Picks for Game Week 33. Starting up with Ivan Toney, again, as we said, best fixture, the guys on penalties. Sheffield United are really, really poor away from home. Most goals conceded in the league. Last week, Mbeumo, Visa, and Regulon just ran riot against Aston Villa, scoring those 3 quick goals in the space of 10 minutes. And Tony coming into that, I think, bodes well for Brentford and against a really poor Sheffield United team. Next up, Erling Haaland. Haaland playing Luton, who are quite weak on the right and centre in terms of shots conceded. Haaland, I think, leads the league in shots in the box, so he's up there. He scored 5 goals against them in the FA Cup. A very good shout this week for captain. Salah going up against Crystal Palace is like a must-win for them. Obviously, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool from now till the end of the season is a must-win. So those guys are going to start. He was rested versus Atalanta, which is good for us. I feel like they kind of need something to prove after an humiliating 3-0 home loss to Atalanta. Next up, Bukayo Saka, 9.1 million as an Aston Villa home game. Again, Aston Villa quite weak on their left side. The one thing about Aston Villa is they have not conceded any penalty this season, which is a place where Saka has been quite solid, has been getting a number of his goals from. So the penalty spot that is. So yeah, just something worth considering. But Saka is a good shot for captain. Then Son, form player for Tottenham, captain, playing up front, classified as a midfielder in FPL, but playing as striker with Richarlison's injury woes. Newcastle concede a number of shots, a number of chances at home, especially. Their games have just been high scoring. 4-4 against Luton, 4-3 versus West Ham. Like, they're just going crazy. And my last shot for captain pick is Alexander Isak, playing Tottenham at home. He has 3 goals in the last 3 games at home. He's just a boy who's on form and he's just loving life up front for the Toon Army. And yeah, that is our captain picks for Game Week 33. Now, moving to what are we doing next? We are... I just love doing this like it's a conversation with you guys, to be honest. Let me just go there as I buy time to find where I'm at. Yeah, it's lineup time for Game Week 33. So we are going to get into our lineup for Game Week 33. We have Kelleher at the back playing Crystal Palace at home. Saliba in defense, Aston Villa home. Ait Nouri playing Nottingham Forest, and Regulon, who comes in for Doughty. And then in midfield, we have Salah playing Crystal Palace, Luis Diaz playing Crystal Palace, Palmer, Everton game at home on Monday night, then Saka against Aston Villa, and then up front, you have Oli Watkins, who's playing Arsenal, Muniz, who was a West Ham away game, and then Haaland up front playing Luton. Johnson and Udogie drop to the bench. And our captain for this week is none other than the boy from... Guys, where's Haaland from? Oh, he's from Norway. Haaland is our captain for this week, and we expect him to get some points against Luton. Yeah, again, as we said, scored 5 goals against Luton in the FA Cup in one game. He was quite impressive in that game. And yeah, he just has a knack of just scoring against them and just creating space and finding space. So I think it's a no-brainer. And supposing he is not playing or he's benched, our first sub is Salah. So just remember that as well. You have to be very careful with your... our vice captain is Salah, not our first sub. Our vice captain is Salah. So you need to be very careful with your vice captain pick, because this week might be quite crucial, especially if you're thinking of captaining the likes of Foden, the guys who played in Europe, basically. So yeah, just be wary of that. And then for our challenge team, before we go to our challenge team, this week's challenge is sportsmanship. I should say it. Sportsmanship. That is our challenge for this week. What that means is any player who gets a yellow card, they get -5 points. -5 points. And then any player who gets a red card gets -8 points. -5 for yellow cards, -8 for red card. So just remember, in this week, if you have people like, obviously Douglas Luiz is not playing, but those are the types of people you do not want in your team this week. People who are prone to yellow cards. So you want the angels, you know. You want the angels in your team. So this is how our team looks like. We have Flecken at the back, playing Sheffield away. In defense, we have White, Pedro Porro, and Reguilon. Reguilon is a serial offender in terms of getting red cards this season, but he has such a good fixture. I think that just kind of overrides that. Jeremy Doku, Beumo, Palmer, and Luis Diaz in midfield. And up front, we have Tony, Haaland, and Solanke. Then we have Odegaard on the bench, Romero on the bench, and Bradley on the bench, as well as Dubravka. So in case anything happens, I'm just seeing that the person that I'm really worried about may be Tony. Tony just likes arguing a lot. So that might be a straight swap for Odegaard. And then also, I think everyone is playing at home in our... Other than Pedro Porro, everyone is playing at home. Romero is just a walking red card. So again, we've left him on the bench. So yeah, that is how the team looks like. Captain as well here is none other than the Norwegian. And yeah, that is how the team looks like. And I think that's it for Game Week 33, right? That is it for Game Week 33. It's a wrap, guys. As always, thank you so much again. I can't say thank you enough. It is just past 5 a.m. I had to make this episode for you guys. Deadline is later today, so I want to see how soon this can come out. Probably in the next, it'll be on Spotify in the next like few minutes, so you guys should be good. YouTube guys, you just have to wait a bit longer before it's out. Again, show is brought to you by Uber Eats. Thank you guys so much. Remember to join our WhatsApp community. There's a lot that happens there. We have Town Danny Podcast. Check it out as well. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to vote for us. We were nominated Tamasha Digital Content Creator Award. We were nominated for Sports Content Creators. So yeah, please vote for us. Until next time, it's been real. Peace.